I have with me Mr. Soli Cooper, Senior Counsel practicing at the Supreme Court of India and the Bombay High Court. He is an alum of Harvard Law School and Government Law College. He has tremendous experience at the bar and was designated as a senior in 2011 by the Bombay High Court. Good evening, sir. Thank you
Good
for
evening.
taking the time to speak with me and share your thoughts on dispute resolution in changing times. So, due to the ongoing lockdown in the country, the Supreme Court and various high courts have now resorted to virtual hearings of urgent matters. Recently, the Supreme Court even laid down the guidelines and rules for virtual hearings and made it clear that this is here to stay even post the pandemic. So, do you think it will be challenging for the legal fraternity to migrate from in person to online?
The answer is both yes and no. There will be challenges, partly because of the inherent inertia in changing over from one system to another,
Correct.
partly because litigation especially has certain inherent problems in going entirely online.
Yes.
So it's obviously having dealing with oral evidence online will have a problem of its own, though it has been done in the past through video conferencing. Advancing detailed arguments will again be an issue online. But it's true that the courts are doing it. In fact, today the Bombay High Court sat and conducted hearing of several matters through Zoom.
Correct.
And actually, I turned it, went in on that, and I was watching it, and it was really very effective. Obviously, because of the lockdown, there were various problems. Documents were not available. People were not able to present cases fully, but it worked.
Yep.
And this is something which could certainly work in the future. And I think there's a lot of potential here. But it will require a lot of cooperation, both from the bench as well as from the bar,
Yes.
as far as litigation is concerned. And of course, it will require a large amount of acceptance from corporates and from businesses as far as arbitration and mediation are concerned.
Correct.
But it's certainly a highly doable thing. Actually, the more pertinent issue will be the challenges which are inherent in going online. In the sense that, for example, if you're talking litigation, it's a public forum, but arbitration is a confidential forum. Now, how do you ensure confidentiality? How do you ensure that online third parties who are not involved are not able to listen in? One is the privacy issue. The other issue is whether one of the disputing parties allows somebody else who should not be in the arbitration forum to enter into the arbitration forum. So these are issues which will have to be resolved over time. I don't know how we would do it, what would be the technological issues which would arise, but you would have to meet these issues as we go along.
Absolutely.
And of course, there will be a certain amount of resistance from lawyers who, especially my age, who have been used to arguing things in person. But this can be, people can adopt to it.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing your insightful thoughts on this question, sir. So we hear a lot about arbitration and mediation, but whether they have managed to unburden the courts is a big question mark. Online dispute resolution or ODR, which is a branch of ADR, practically speaking, sir, in what types of cases would online arbitration and online mediation work well?
My personal view is that it's probably not going to work for all types of arbitration.
Okay.
Highly complex arbitrations, which would require a huge amount of argument, a large volume of evidence to be led, or very complicated matters to be decided, it would be difficult to have it entirely online. You may have aspects of it being dealt with online, but to have a complete procedure online would be difficult. It would be more efficacious and probably could work very effectively in matters where the issue is a narrow dispute. Say the issue is a dispute on whether a particular clause in a contract means one thing or another thing. That something can be resolved entirely on interpretation. So
Yes.
it's easy to resolve that on just documentation. It's easy for people to have limited arguments. So you can submit everything also online. And at the highest, you can have a very small limited argument made also through the internet or through video conferencing, etc.
Correct.
Or it could work where the amount of documentation involved is small, whether it's an interpretation of law,
Yeah.
or even on a matter of fact, where there is no huge dispute on facts and a large volume of factual evidence is not clear. So in those type of cases, it could work. The other problem you may face is the quality of arbitrators.
Yeah.
Now, from what I understand, the structure of an online arbitration, to make it compulsory, you have a compulsory clause which is put into a contract, and both parties have already prepaid their fees into for the purpose of the arbitration. Now, the problem will
Yes.
be that people would agree to this if they had faith in the quality of arbitrators.
Correct.
And if the online arbitration to be effective has also got to be cheap. Now, if it is
Yes.
cheap, you're going to find it very difficult to get high quality arbitrators to work for a very, very low fee. So you have to be able to draw a balance there and to be able
Correct.
to attract good quality arbitrators at reasonable cost.
Yes, absolutely. In fact, so as you rightly mentioned, in of course complex matters, you do need an in-person arbitration or an in-person mediation. But most of these matters, which are in fact clogging the court, are these trivial, straightforward matters which could be easily resolved online, and an online arbitration or an online mediation would really work well. So absolutely on point, sir. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts on this, for removing time to do this call. And please take
No,
care and stay safe, sir.
you're welcome. Thank you.